on Healing Oracle Radio. It is the 24th of the 5th, 2017, and have I got a show for you tonight. Later on in the show, I will be spending an hour bringing you the music of booked bands to the Rebellion Festival, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. But first of all, and for the first 2 hours, I'm going to introduce Mehran Tavakoli Keshe onto my show. Mehran, are you with me? Hello, hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Welcome to Out of the Bag. It's been a while, Mehran.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. There's a bit of an echo there, but you sound okay. You sound grand. And you're calling from Ghana this evening, yes?
Yes, at the moment we are in Ghana as part of our work to bring the technology into Africa, and as part of the progress of the technology, as you know, we have to share the knowledge accordingly across the world with all the nations.
Well, sharing sorry, go on.
We are here.
Well, sharing the knowledge is really what I want you to do tonight, because you are, I mean, for the listeners who do not know, you are a plasma nuclear physicist, and
Yeah.
that's something that is way, way, way above my head and maybe a lot of other people's heads as well. But you want to share the knowledge that you've gained and also bring us updates of the Keshe Foundation.
Yes, the knowledge is, as I said before many times, we developed the knowledge of the matter to its limit in the past centuries, and we developed what we call the nuclear after atomic, and now we're going a step further inside the nucleus, which is the fields which make the electron and proton and everything else. And by learning this new knowledge, we have found a lot of freedom in many aspects for human race. Freedom from fuel, burning fuel, freedom from cycles of limitation in space travel, freedom from all sorts of restriction with medicine and everything else.
Yeah, I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited about this. I mean, you're in Ghana at the moment, and you have a new spaceport built already, or is it being built?
The port is to be built. We're starting in a matter of days. We have no problem in expanding the technology and sharing it. And this allows, the beauty with the new spaceport is that it's not like NASA, that you need a huge launch pads and all sorts of things which you've seen in the present space technology. Everything is very simple. Any man on this planet should be able to build it. You need literally, if you think I would bring it to the point of simplicity, we have understood the structure of the universe, how the planet works, how the planet moves. And if you look at it, you have a sphere ball, which inside, due to interaction of different fields, creates gravity, and by the same fields in a different way, creates the atmosphere. This is what the Earth is. Right. So if you look at it, it's the same structure in a proton, it's the same structure in an electron. And if you look at it in a very sensible way, a ping pong ball can do the same.
Okay.
It's just knowing how to load it, how to put material in it. And this is what we are making the space travel so simple. Understanding of the further development in the science of man has made the science so simple for everyone.
So is the future of space travel we're talking?
No, we're already in it. We are taking it out of the hand of the governments in the hand of people.
Okay.
The governments have developed different aspects of it. People are developing different aspects of it, be it medicine, being space travel, being energy. And now it's not, we don't need governments to come up with multi-billion financing to go to space. We as individuals have the capability. If you understand it, we can do it. Okay. Because the understanding is that all we need to do is to create gravity, and all we need to do is to create magnetic field, which is what we call the shielding or atmosphere. The biggest problem in the science has been we never understood what gravity is. So we made a big fuss of it, and we made it the holy grail of science. But if you look at it, as I said in many teachings, you get two magnets together. If you put the right poles together, right, or to same entries, the same exit, they repel each other.
Yes.
And if you put one exit and one entry to each other, they attract each other. So gravity is an interaction of fields, and magnetic or atmosphere is a repulsion of fields. So now we understand this. The mystery out of gravity is gone, and you can play any games you like with it. So you don't need launch pads. You create a smaller version of the fields of the Earth in a ping pong ball. You load it the right way, the Earth is loaded, or any other planet, you can fly because you position yourself. You don't burn fuel anymore.
I can understand that off the top of my head. I can understand that working for travel around the world, but for actual space travel now, that's another thing altogether, isn't it, where we lose
No,
gravity?
it's not. Look at it.
Okay.
The problem is, look at the ring magnets. You know, if you get yourself a ring magnet and put ring magnets together, the behavior is the same as a flat rectangular or square magnet, but they move in a different way.
Okay.
And now if I want to go to the moon, I create gravitational of the moon, I create magnetic field of the moon, and if I keep it in the reverse condition, then I get attracted. If you put two magnets together and you just turn it the other way around, while it was repelling, now it attracts.
Yes.
So it's very easy. We create the destination gravitational magnetic field in reverse, or we reduce the gravity and we increase the magnetical. That's how the reverse is done. And then you just get pulled into, in that way, the speed of light goes out of the window because now there is no limitation on the speed of travel.
Right.
And this is the beauty of it. And in so many ways, the space race is to develop to see how far further in space we can go. It's not anymore who gets to where, it's how far we can go in a safe way from one point to another.
Okay, so it's a completely new I suppose, approach to science, and it would blow a lot of the old textbooks out
No,
of
it's
the water.
not a new approach. It's the further understanding the interaction of the fields in a magnet, in a magnetic field,
Okay.
a dynamic magnetic field. So we understood about atoms and we thought, ooh, atomics. And then we understood a little bit more, we became nuclear. Now we understand the center of the nucleus, which is a plasma.
Okay.
And that's all it is.
Well, can you explain plasma technology to us?
Plasma comes out of the interaction of the fields. Some, they attract each other and some repel. And the total interaction of the number of fields together creates a motion. And this motion is always end up with the shape of the sphere.
Okay.
That's why we don't see any cylindrical objects in the universe. The field, as the, let's say, North Pole is trying to catch up with the South Pole, and at the same time, there are North Pole fields interacting with the North Pole fields, and the South Pole fields interacting with the South Pole field. This gives an anti-clock rotation of the fields and chasing to each other as some reaching each other,
Right.
and this creates a rotation of the fields. And the boundary, the effective boundary of these fields by other fields creates its own shell. We call it a plasma. Sun is a plasma.
Okay, so basically, if you use this technology, we would be able to create our own sort of spheres ourselves.
Yes, everybody does it. Now, many people across the world are doing it. It's not magic.
Okay.
There are millions of people at it. You can produce it in a shape of a atom, in the shape of a molecule. You can do it if you want to see for the first time a molecule with a naked eye. It's very easy.
Okay.
As I was giving an interview yesterday to Kerry Cassidy, the same,
Okay.
is that go to a shop, go to a supermarket, say I want a toilet opener. We call it caustic. Yeah?
Okay.
Get yourself a caustic, bottle of caustic, the granules, put it in a plastic container, get a piece of copper wire from whatever you have in the basement, whatever, or a piece of copper, put it in a plastic container with the lid, add boiling water to it, leave it for 24 hours. You see there's still the same color of the copper stays the same. Just leave it there, don't touch it. After 24 hours, empty the water from the container and close the seal again. And leave it there. You say it starts going black. It goes, leave it in that condition for 24 hours. It goes black, black, black.
Okay.
Get yourself a 9-volt battery or 1.5-volt battery. Open it. Get rid of all the things inside it. And flatten it. Then take the copper, which you made it black. Get yourself a liter of water. Put 150 grams of salt into it to dilute it. Put the black copper and the zinc plate in it hanging. Connect the copper and the zinc to a LED light, a small fan motor that it can drain energy from the plates. Then you start seeing a very whitish thing gradually developing on the bottom of the pot.
Okay.
And then that is a molecular CO2. CO2, which we've never seen before, is a gas. It's the first time we see it in a visible at room temperature and the pressure. If you do the same process, but take, instead of where you clean the battery out, put the zinc container of another battery in the same caustic condition. After 24 hours, take it out, and then you put the what do you call this zinc nano coated, the same. It doesn't go black; it goes a bit darkish grayish.
Okay.
Then when you put the original zinc plate and now a nano coated zinc plate in the same salt, you get another slightly different color of white. And then if you, while you're making these, if you made the first container with CO2, which was the first white, and put a rusty iron pin in it and connect it to the plates, if you like, the wiring of the before to the fan, you start seeing red stuff dripping from the pen, from the pin you put in, the rusty nail you put in.
Okay.
This is blood. This is hemoglobin.
Really?
So for the first time, man can produce blood, hemoglobin, from the water and fresh air.
Wow. Okay.
Because when you had that CO2 with from the first container you made, you see a fattish thing on top of it. It starts gradually building on the surface of the water. That is the initial creation of amino acid. That fat is is the essence of creation of life on this planet. That amino acid being in touch with the rusty nail makes it hemoglobin dripping down. While you're building CO2 at the bottom, which is a connection of life, you're correcting blood. You will see it becomes red in the side. Now, add some of that white stuff you had from the two plates, copper nano-coated, which is a black one, and then a plain copper, you get a greenish stuff. You can start creating life. For the first time, you understand how life has started on this planet. But every little dots you see in that container is one atom, one molecule, what we call one molecule of CO2, one molecule of zinc, one molecule of copper. And then you see, every molecule you see, every dot you see floating at the bottom is one sun. It has the energy of one sun.
Right.
And then now gather a bunch of these in a container, rotate it in a different mixture, or you can go more advanced, create a gas of hydrogen, and then it creates gravity and magnetic field, and you fly. It's very simple. Now we understand how life has started on this planet. You can replicate it. And when you make this, it puzzles you. You will attract it. The kitchen becomes laboratory. Many people exchange their bed with the sofa, and the bedroom becomes lab. Because now, if you use the water, not the white stuff which you created as a CO2, and you have any kind of problem, you drink the water without touching the material, you have to wash it out very much, all the salt out. The zinc, you can use it for neuro damage because now we know zinc is the essence of the nerves. The green copper is for muscle tissues, and then you can use it for health application. And the extension of knowledge is new and is expanding very rapidly. Then you mix if you make a gas of hydrogen or tritium, which is a hydrogen with what you call a proper hydrogen atom, which is both neutron and a proton, or you go to tritium, and then you use it as a fuel. You can lift, you create your own atmosphere, your own condition, you create your own craft. You don't need the shuttle business anymore, it's finished. And so we have learned more in the past few years. Now the Keshe Foundation has grown into a multinational organization, but more or less in every nation, island there is supporters of Keshe Foundation groups, because people are start helping themselves. They understand it, we teach it, and so it's a new science. Nobody knew it. We are the leaders of it, we discovered it, and we teach it freely.
Okay, well, it sounds absolutely incredible, and the health connotations are amazing.
You don't want to know. Go on the Keshe Foundation.
I do want to know.
Go on www.keshefoundation.org, and you see a picture of a breast. This is a case done in the United States by a doctor using just these magnetic field balls and plates and whatever, different combination, and the water. A woman with a breast cancer is nearly 2-3 kilos. In 60 days, no cancer tumor goes. When you look at the teaching of when the doctor explains it in a conference, and then in a cancer in exchange free energy for what they call it, peace, you see how cancer has been walking away from a human race. The breast is back. We are following to see how if the breast grows. Cancer in the lung has disappeared, cancer in the bone has disappeared, and this is a live done by a doctor in US. The patient is American lady, 36-year-old with a child. Okay. Go on the testimonial of the Keshe Foundation. Many people are writing. A guy I read yesterday, the day before, he says, I used it, helped my wife with a cancer, multiple cancer. Now I have a wife and my children have a mother.
Yes. No, it sounds incredible.
And you can do it at home yourself. You don't need anything else.
I hear you. This type of information, I mean, for example, the British Cancer Act of 1939 or whatever it was, is stopping people from saying that they've got a cure for cancer. It's stopping people.
We don't have a cure. This is a process. Cure is the job of the doctors. We created a process.
Go on.
We have created a process that we understand the process of life. Curing is for doctors. We don't have any doctors in the space, and nobody can come back to FDA. Can I use this?
Okay.
You understand?
I do understand, but just as we've lived centuries whereby the oil, the rubber plantation, the oil barons, the big pharmaceutical corporations, etc., around the world, have they not been giving you any hassle over this and trying to stop you?
Oh, the King of Belgium came to see me and says, give me the technology, I kill you or leave my country. I left the country. They're trying to, take us that we practice medicine. We don't, because we practice environmental condition. We have a pedophile called Dirk in Belgium. Now we caught his partner in United States in prison for life for raping his daughters. He's opened something called Facts About Keshe because he's trying to hide his pedophile activities.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Get him, but he's paid by the King of Belgium to do it. He's raped so many children.
Right.
And then they are pushing the, pharmaceuticals. They are pushing everybody else, trying to stop the technology. It doesn't happen.
Right.
Go there and read about facts about Dirk on the internet in Google. You see the guy is advertising. He wants a picture of a 6-year-old child. And I'll give you a free cinema ticket. This is a game of pedophiles. Come on, darling, I'll give you a lollipop.
Yeah.
And then they do. This guy, Dirk, works in the hand of the Belgium structure. And we open his hand. Go on the internet, look for Alan Sterling, who started this game of free energy business. It was free energy of children. You exposed him. Now he's spending life in prison without parole in Utah.
So the King of
And
Belgium threatened you, and you had to leave Belgium
yeah,
because of
my
that?
car has been blown up today. They found the documents from police of Belgium where they tried to kill us with guns. We are submitting to European Court of Justice. Actually, it's a police file record. They've signed it that they arrested two guys, and the guys disappeared.
Right.
Mr. Lorenz called himself. It always happens around his house, and with the police of Belgium, they worked with a bunch of pedophiles, and they work that way. Um, it's very, very strange why he said, I've helped Mr. Keshe to write books, and I've done his patents, but he doesn't say, I was a webmaster of the Keshe Foundation, stripping children from it. The same as Alan Sterling. They come in, they infiltrate us,
Right.
and they are supposed to do very good, but they only tell the other side. They don't say the side they were working at. We get threatened. Every time we couldn't understand how we get threatened, how we get our car blown up, we get people arrested with guns shooting at us, and they disappear. And they were trying to make us as we are, dreaming. Now we have found all the files. They are getting submitted to European Court of Justice this week. Mr. Dirk is going to go into prison for a long time for attempted murders, because when he was supposedly helping me to write my first book, I was going through all the bleeding, it's all documents in the hospital. And then when they came to poison me again in Italy, it's the same scenario with the bleeding and everything. Now we put the two together.
Okay.
And the strange thing is, this Mr. Lorenz calls the doctor saying he's dying. I know how he's dying from arsenic, because he gave me the same arsenic himself in Belgium. These are murderers working, trying to stop the technology.
Yes.
But they are pedophile too. Just go on the facts about Dirk and open the page where he puts pictures where he's buried the children. Why do you put a picture of fields in your website?
No,
This is where they bury the children. They get attracted to the foundation because it's a new technology. A lot of people will come, and they have a pool of young people to rape. And we get this. But then we found out he was for the King of Belgium. And now the whole structure is, yes, we get a lot of threats, but it's irrelevant. When I hear a child, go on the, on the internet, golden age of GANs, and read what people put, how they're saving their lives, testimonials on Keshe Foundation website. You have a child which is handicapped, what we call, yesterday I was explaining to Kerry Cassidy, many children in Ireland. I love Ireland. As you know, we discussed before, my brother-in-law, my nieces are half Irish.
Yes.
They come from Derry.
Yes.
And I adore your island. I've been there. It's the most beautiful part of the world you can go to. But you suffer the same as we do. You have children which they call lack of oxygen during the birth, and the handicaps. Bring it to the foundation. We give your life back.
Okay, can I get you to repeat that, because that's quite a claim that children that have been born with lack of oxygen end up with many different ailments and disabilities. And are you saying that
now we
reverse
understand?
that?
Let me explain the science.
Please do.
Never accept anything till we can explain it.
Yeah.
What has happened? Doctors could not understand. For the first time, we have opened it up. When we are in the womb of our mother, we are fish. We are in a pool of water.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, in the process of few seconds, few minutes, we have to change the habit of breathing water in our lungs to breathing air, because now we come from a fish into the air animal. At that point, if the duration in the process or something happens in the process of conversion, when you got a hypothermia, the body switches off different section of the blood flow to save the heart and the brain, that you can survive, and you get gangrene and the rest of it from your tip of toes growing up.
Yeah.
The same thing happens in the process of birth. If there is a delay, the brain switches off to hold on to what is developed, and now when you're born, that switching off does not switch back on, that the brain carries growing. That's all it is. There is no lack of oxygen. This is a birth process when the body switches certain things off to protect what is created, the brain, that we can carry on later on. And in that process, when the child is born, to start breathing air instead of the water which was in the womb of the mother, certain neural system do not switch on. And when they don't switch on, so that part of the brain does not grow because it's on the standby.
Right.
It's on the standby for years. Now we have learned how to switch it back on to come back into operation. So if you have a child which is become or is slightly what they call mentally retarded during the birth process, we have developed a technology. You can do it at home. You don't need no doctors. It's so simple.
Okay.
You see your child, if especially between the age of 2.5 to 1.5 to 5 or 6, you see your child very quickly. You switch those buttons on, the brain starts growing very fast, and you have a child you don't even remember to say it was handicapped. The word should not exist. When we do this with the older age, 12, 14, 16, it takes longer, and then there are more complications with it in a way of behavior and everything else. But if we catch it young at very early stages, and then we switch that on with a very simple process with the nuclear plasma technology as we have it, which you can make it at home yourself, then you save your child's life. You change the family structure. Sometimes we can get 100% recovery. Sometimes we get inside 70% recovery. But at least the family lives a life. The child lives a perfect life. And it's very easy. And it's so beautiful to see the child being able to live.
Absolutely.
The family lives. And I can teach it to you in 10 minutes. I go to any FDA, I stand in any court to say, you tell me I don't have a right to teach the way life exists, and you call it a medicine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
The first man who said the earth is round, they hung him. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to be hung the same way because of one pedophile in Belgium.
Right.
And another one who supports him.
Well, on this show, Mehran, we've uncovered paedophile rings right to the top in the royalty around the world and in corporations around the world, and the 33
Look,
third degree
read
Masons.
about facts about Dirk and put pressure on Interpol to get him into prison.
Okay.
He has to go. We found out more. He is the biggest supporter of the Alan Sterling. Alan Sterling got life without parole, solitary confinement, because he's raped so many, and it was brought into Keshe Foundation by Mr. Dirk. Thieves live together.
Yes,
doctors together,
and they seem to be trying to stop
people together.
So this information is vital and should be global, shouldn't it? Every single human being. I mean, we are electrons.
You organize a program, we teach and we follow. I offer the same thing to Kerry Cassidy. We are bringing health into the house. I'll tell you how easy it is. You heard about what I told you about the copper and the zinc from the battery.
Yes.
You heard from the zinc battery container, and with the other zinc battery you put in the same process with the caustic. Mm-hmm. Those two white elements you collect at the bottom, keep them separate. Wash them 5 or 10 times that there is no salt in them.
Right.
Then, after the 8-7 time when you can't taste any salt, wash it with the pure water and let the...
Oh, we've lost you. Okay, I'm going to ring Mehran back immediately, and hopefully we'll get the connection back. This has been happening, because he is calling from Ghana, of course. So this is Sean Maguire on Healing Oracle Radio, trying to get Mehran Tevakoli, Keshe back on. Let me see if I can phone him. I'm just going to try again. Live radio, where would you have it? Here we go. Let's try again. Now hopefully we'll get him back. Nope. And it's interesting, this happened a few times on the Kerry Cassidy. Hello, are you back with me, Mehran?
Hello. Hello. Yes, I'm in Ghana. We sometimes get a drop on the transmission.
No worries, no worries.
It might happen a couple of times during our work. It happened last night as well.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
So you get the two white stuff. You wash them 5 or 6 times until you don't taste any salt. Get a 33 ml Coca-Cola bottle. Okay. Put those each white in separate bottles. Shake it and let the white stuff settle at the bottom. Give 30 ml of each 3 times a day to the child. You have to understand this creates the condition. Zinc is connected to the neurosystem of the body of the child.
Okay.
The CO2, the other one which is the copper and zinc, is a connection, electrical connection. So you kick in the electrical connection of the brain the way that it is. The white stuff you see at the bottom is what your body is made of. So it's not foreign, so it accepts it totally. The brain has a seed. Every single cell in the brain of the man has a calcium base. So you have to take calcium as doctor prescribed, so many milligram per day for a child according to the age, but you double it. Because if you give a normal dosage, the child uses it. So you need surplus that you can produce new cells, because now you have surplus to produce cells. You get zinc tablets for the child. And again, you double it for the same reason. Normal standard a day, now you have to double it that you have a surplus. You get magnesium. Magnesium is connection between the physicality part of the brain and physical part of the body of the man.
Yes.
Then you need potassium. Potassium is an internal connection between the neurosystem of the brain itself. Then you take omega-3, highly saturated on EPA side, attention deficiency, not on the HDAD side, on the hyperactivity.
Okay.
And then when the mother is pregnant, what does the doctor give you? Folic acid. Because folic acid is a radioactive material which increases the rate of the division of the cell. It allows perfect cells to be produced. Again, when you're pregnant, the mother takes it and gives it to the child for the cells in the body of the child to do. Now you're out of the womb of the mother. Again, double dosage of folic acid. You carry on with the same process as it was in the womb of the mother. So the missing link is complete. Repeat this between 2 to 3 months, right back to you, and let them say the child has changed. You see the change in the first 3 to 5 days.
Okay.
We have it in South Africa, in Africa now, a white African. They just wrote after 4 weeks the child started walking, only 2 years old. The child has started making noise to talk. And we've seen it right across Europe.
So that's brilliant. So that is high double doses, if you like, of
double dosage. Understand what you do. Don't do it blind. Understand what you do.
Yes.
You need the zinc. Zinc, our neurosystem is built of zinc. You give him zinc as you buy from the pharmacy. If he says, let's say 1 milligram for the one age, you give it 2 milligram.
Right.
Because the 1 milligram is what it needs daily, so you need surplus to produce new nerves. The essence of the seed of the brain of the man is a calcium. It showers from our skull into our brain, and then it becomes the seed of it. So now you need calcium double dosage. You need potassium, which is the connection of the cells inside the brain. You need magnesium because your brain connects with your physicality, everything double. You need to use the CO2 and zinc oxide, water. If you don't know how to do it, go on www.Keshe Foundation, Keshe, Kesh Foundation.org. They're all there how to make nano-material and the gas material. Look for the gas of CO2 and gas of dioxide. There are videos there, you can do it.
Okay.
And then give every morning, lunchtime and dinner, 30 milliliter of these two liquid to the child. That's all you need to do. You get your child back.
Yeah, it sounds incredible and wonderful.
We've done this for many years. It's not the theory anymore. You can use the same technique if you had a stroke. You got to replace the brain cells. You'll see you start changing. But with the adults, you have to increase the dosage of the waters to 60. And especially with the children, you have to add the zinc, with the water from the zinc one, the last thing at night before the child sleeps. If you want to speed up the process of recovery. You get the Hubble bubble. They call it shisha now. Everywhere is common. The Arabs put a smoke on top of it with the water going gluk, 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 gluk.
Yes, yes, a bong.
Don't put any smoke. Don't put any cigarette on it. Put some of that zinc water and CO2 water at the where you go gluk, gluk, gluk,
Yes.
and just breathe through it. Because your lung is a connection to your emotion and the brain cells.
Okay.
And then you find the recovery faster. If you can get your child to pull on it and play with it, you speed up more. What you drink is the way we drink water. It's like you go to the fountain and say, this fountain has got the capability of curing sight or curing this disease or that disease. Now we make these are fountains of life. We have learned how Earth supports its people, where you go to some springs and you say, this spring is good for ulcer and the other thing. Now we're making springs according to the illness.
Okay.
So this is what it is. So the water you drink, instead of going and finding somewhere to give you a strength in the nerves, you make the spring at home. Because you don't drink the white stuff. In the springs in the mountains, the material goes through places where there is a zinc, there is a copper or whatever, and it takes the property of it. Now instead of looking for a spring, we make the spring at home.
I understand. That's very good.
It's the beauty of it. You can do this if you got a cancer. You have to know which way. It's not the same thing for everything. You got a high blood pressure. Take very, very easy. It's so easy to do. Take the zinc, the water you made, the white one from the two zinc plates from the battery, one nano-coated, one not, connected to each other with a motor, a small computer motor.
Okay.
And take the CO2 which you made. And then what you do, you take 30 milliliter of both. If you're an adult over age of 20, 60 milliliter of each. 3 times a day. Zinc always has to be before they sleep the last time. And I'll talk to you in 48 hours, 72 hours. You see your blood pressure takes a nosedive.
That's incredible. Yeah.
It's how it works. If you're diabetic 1 or diabetic 2, you remember what I told you with the wire to put in to make hemoglobin?
Yes.
This time, when you made that copper black, on the other side, instead of putting the battery cover into it, get yourself a chicken mesh. You know the wires you put around to keep the chicken in the hot?
Chicken wire, yeah.
Chicken wire. Put a chicken wire instead of where you put the zinc plate from the battery. You create a rusty reddish material at the bottom this time.
Okay.
That rusty reddish color is CH3. It's an original sugar which our life started with, which means it was the initial energy which we needed to create life. You do the same thing, you collect some of it, you wash it, and then if you got a high blood pressure, again you wash it and you just put in a Coca-Cola bottle, let it go to the bottom. You just only drink the water, never touch the material on the bottom. No way.
Okay.
Because what it does, if you understand it, this is a filtering. You know, when you go to the shop and you buy a water filter, it goes through different layer of sand and charcoal to clean it.
Yes.
This is the same process, but this time goes through the plasma. And then the water is clean to the specific energy. It's the sun of this or sun radiation of the other. This is what it's called. It's called the plasma filtering. So now you go back. You made white stuff from the copper and zinc. This was CO2. You made the stuff from zinc and zinc. What's zinc oxide for your nerves? You made the copper and the chicken mesh. It's the red stuff at the bottom. So now what you got to do, you put in a Coca-Cola bottle. The first week you drink 30 ml 3 times a day from the red stuff, the CH3, the first week. But at the same time, you drink CO2 30 ml and you drink the zinc oxide 30 ml. So in the first week, you take all of them 30 ml each. But you always drink zinc the last thing at night.
Okay.
But this lunchtime always has to be the second time. In the morning has to be the second one, or the third one. The last one always have to be zinc. And then in the second week, you take the red stuff bottle only in the morning. No more lunchtime and dinner.
Okay.
If you're diabetic 14, 16, you'll drop to about 8 to 7. Follow it. It's just the water you drink. Nothing else. Doesn't cost a penny.
Yeah.
And you can, every time the water gets low, put fresh water in, shake it, let it filter, and keep on drinking. It never finishes. It lasts your grandchild's, great-grandchild's. They can use it if you use it properly. And then let them send the results to you, not to me. Open a section in your program every day. It brings you a lot of listeners as well, that people come back and gives you testimonial. We are doing it, it's happened. Your blood pressure, we had people with 220 over 16 in United States on the more or less deathbed. They could not do, it was just increasing. They brought them back to Ghana. The first 3 days, 16 over 10.
Okay.
And this is all recorded by doctors, by scientists. So this is how beautiful this technology is.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic.
You can do it at home. You don't need me. Go to Keshe Foundation. People discover new ways. And if you, again, you know the wire you put in there and you made the white stuff with it, the copper or the CO2 or the zinc, get that wire, twist it in a certain way inside each other. You can connect it to your electricity and save 30, 40, 50% of your energy bill.
So we're actually using an energy machine as well from the same...
It's a power supply, because
yes.
Don't forget, those dots you saw, each one is a sun. Now they radiate the energy back into the copper, they feed into your electric system. The reduction you give is not a reduction. Now you use partially energy of the plasma, partially energy from the electricity board. We need the pulses of the electricity from electricity board to encourage the plasma to release its energy. That's all it is.
I see.
Depends how much efficient you make it, that's a reduction you get.
So it's like piggybacking on the electricity that's already there.
Yes. It's a hybrid system. You know, you have engines with a fuel and with electric motors.
Yes.
But one feeds the other. Now we use the pulses of the electricity to encourage the plasma to release. It's just a pump. You pump it, it releases more. And after about a year, 2 years, you go to 80, 90% reduction. Millions of people are doing it around the world. The only people who tell you it doesn't work is Mr. Lorenz.
I'll say that again. The only people that will tell you it won't work
The
is
only
who?
person who says it's a fraud, it doesn't work or anything else, is Mr. Lorenz, the guy who writes facts about Dirk.
Oh, okay.
You understand? He shares children with his king. That's where he came. That's how he was introduced to us. And he writes everywhere. I wrote the books with Mr. Keshe. I did his patents, yes, but it doesn't tell you the other part of the pact. I was a webmaster teaching children. That's where I got my payment. It wasn't free. A lot of children must have paid their life with this, what I call, disgrace face of the earth. Now we found that in past 3-4 days through Americans, how he's been operating.
Okay.
He writes everywhere, I helped Mr. Keshe, and I did this and I did that, but he doesn't say, I used to be a webmaster too, because Alan Sterling was a webmaster of PizWiki, huh?
Right. So they infiltrated you guys and tried to bring you down, yes?
Yeah, he is, because he was paid, because he did. The interesting is, you're British, you're Irish, yeah?
Irish,
Go
yes.
on the internet and write child trafficking from Ghana into Belgium, Antwerp. Mr. Lorenz lives in Antwerp. He was born in Kinshasa. He was brought up in Kinshasa. He hates black. Anything with the dark skin to him is hateable.
Okay.
That's why they're writing so much into. Now we announced the platform in Africa. The first space agency, he's coming and writes, I've written the book of Mr. Keshe, I've done that. And my name is, but it doesn't say, I hate people with dark skin, and I'm a pedophile. I was a webmaster. He don't only say, he says, I've written the books, I've written the patent, but he doesn't say, I was a webmaster, because now connected with the Sterling, huh?
Yeah, so now the Keshe Foundation is clear of these paedophile racists.
No, we are. We try to do it. He's gathered people. He doesn't tell people what he does. He sent another guy from Kinshasa, the same as him, to give me arsenic to kill me. They're all working through one. We have become very open about it now. We can speak openly because we've taken action. He's been taken to court, European Court of Justice.
Right.
They have made a kangaroo case that he practices medicine and defrauding. We put everything up. They said on the Keshe Foundation, he's charged people scamming. And the thing is, on the Keshe Foundation page, it says anybody is not happy will be refunded fully. And anybody who's claimed has been refunded.
Right.
So if you're a scammer, you don't refund and you don't put it on the webpage. But they don't tell this to people. Okay. He thought he's very clever. In the case, he went to the court and he claimed €1. They told him, "Is your name on the list?" No. They told him to, excuse my language, piss off.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
He was trying to claim, and he thought nobody knows. He's under investigation. Very soon he'll be brought into justice for double murder. He organized the killing of my assistant last year, 6th of July.
Right.
A 20-year-old boy.
That's very heavy. Yeah.
And my secretary is still in coma, coming out of coma. He organized it. He's the biggest murderer the face of earth have seen, playing innocent, opening facts about Keshe. He doesn't say facts about Dirk. Go on www.factsaboutdirk and read how he's attracting. He's opened a web page for children to come.
Right. So
yes, read it. Go www.factsabout.
I'd rather.
We have to listen. In Ireland, we have to. We love our children. You know, the Irish are like Iranians. I said in my brother-in-law.
Yes.
We eat up our children. They are the most precious thing to us. Why do we have to let it in the hand of these animals?
Well, we've got an animal government over here as well at the moment, so, we're dealing with it.
They'll soon all be sorted, don't worry. It's all be sorted. When you go to the east of Ireland, to where the stones are, yes, which is the most beautiful thing, you see the beauty of creation. Okay. And you wonder how these stones have come up like this, so hexagonally inside each other. Our humans are the same, except sometimes we get the thorn in the middle of it, and these people are the thorn. We have to look at the beauty of the creation, but at the same time be aware of these, what I call criminals. Yes,
well, we've unfortunately allowed, all over the globe, in the Western world, we've allowed the scum to rise to the surface and not the good, so let's hope that we can change that.
Let's talk about the best things which happens to us.
Yes.
What I would love to do in a coming time, now that more or less Ireland in a way is separated but is unified, as we know, all of us. Mm-hmm. We don't mind opening a space center in Ireland. Why not? Absolutely. You exported potatoes and humans, let's do it properly in an easier way.
I think the British took all of our food and pretended that we just lived on spuds, but okay. It'd be really good if we could have a Keshe Foundation. I was looking at the list of people, distributors on your list, and there is one very close to me in Galway.
Yeah, they're all over the world now. They're all over the world. We have a factory in Arizona, research center. We're talking to open a structure in Canada. There is set up one in Peru. We have in Italy, in Germany, a factory structure is set up. It hasn't gone, was supposed to go to production. It hasn't done. It's gone back and forth. The health section is in Austria. And Italy, we just moved the factory and a distribution center in the south of Italy. This week, we are in Ghana. We are moving to 2 further African nations very soon, opening space centers on the back of what we've done here.
And are the governments involved, and are they, are they into it?
In a way, they don't have a say. Our goods are getting certified. All our goods in Europe, in Italy, have CE certification, tested and certified. In Ghana, we got all our waters and everything else certified. We are putting, we are going to put something like 400 products in Africa, everything certified. Okay. And then we open a space center. We've been asked to open a clinic, and it will go on. It cannot be stopped. If you can save a child with some water, and then you can change the life of a woman with a cancer, which was death sentence, if they said now it's changed, We need a lot of more doctors to come, but don't forget Keshe Foundation, www.keshefoundation.org is our organizational front.
Yes.
We have KFSSI, kfssi.org. That's the education side. We have every day, 5 days a week, courses, 10 till 1 Central European Time, 2 till 5. You can learn everything and participate in it. If
And
you
will
don't have money, it's free.
Right.
If you can pay, it's €100 per year to support the foundation. And learn everything you can learn. There are thousands of people online. They teach you the teaching places, the workshops. And then we have a spaceship.org, which is our space travel business, which we are developing, the first one in Ghana. We were with the minister today, and it was very funny. Even the people at the highest level are scared. What is this going to do to us?
Right. Right.
How come we never discovered it? As I said many times, I was in Seoul giving a lecture some 8-10 years ago, and I gave a lecture to the nuclear center of North Korea. They invited the elite to listen, 10, 20 of them, whatever. And one guy said, we were expecting this technology in 40 years' time to come from United States. I said, excuse me, sir, are you so that stupid that only half, if it comes from America, you can think?
Okay.
You understand?
I do, yeah.
In Ireland, you have some geniuses. The most geniuses of the world of science have come out of Ireland. I know one at least.
Okay. Well, the
That's my brother-in-law.
Oh, that's your brother-in-law, sorry.
Oh, he's a professor and a nuclear scientist, and he's the most gorgeous man you can ever know.
Brilliant. Well, I want to tell people about the KFSSI.
I said to my sister, you're a very lucky woman.
Well, that's great, and I'm sure men in Ireland would like to hear that. But can you tell us more about the KFSSI?
Keshe Foundation SSI is an institution, the educational institute side of the foundation.
Yeah.
You go and learn. You go every day. You can learn different scientists teach. We teach every aspect now: medical, agriculture, how to open businesses through the Keshe Foundation, how to make systems, how to make guns, and everything else. You have a problem, they advise you. If you need to learn how to make the spaceship or your energy system, it's all there. You go in and you sit in the classes. You can listen anytime you like. It's open source. We don't hide anything. We have a very big problem in Keshe Foundation, and that's our biggest problem.
What's that?
Our biggest problem is the minute we find something, we go public with it.
Okay.
And this is the problem with all the. It's a disease which are brought to the foundation.
Yes.
And it's caught up with all the supporters. We have millions of supporters. We have millions of supporters around the world. And through that, we have got into governments supporting us in different way and shape and form. Individuals who are supporting us in different shape and form. Our factories are setting up, supporting us. But there is one thing. Due to what we are and the way we operate, we have become peace brokers. The Keshe Foundation, through its technology, has become peace brokers.
Okay.
And we intervene. We have unraveled yesterday in Kerry Cassidy. You can go back and listen to it. And I've seen today has come on the internet. It says the revolution or coup d'etat planned by Vatican in China has been unveiled, which yesterday we explained clearly how Belgian government, again, these are collaborators of Mr. Lorenz. These are the people who brought Lorenz into Keshe Foundation.
Okay.
We have found out now they've stolen all the technology from NATO, nuclear, the space technology from France and everything else, and they've sold it to North Korea.
So
Belgium,
let me get that straight. So Belgium has, in their infinite wisdom, stolen not just your information, but also NASA and etc.
everybody's, and they've sold it into North Korea to threaten China.
Okay, and is North Korea like on your books of good people, or do you think that
I don't judge. We have gathered intelligence. We know the intelligence. The pressure which was built, all this suddenly a lot of testing going on, but North Korea suddenly from the country who cannot even feed it. There is something very interesting.
Yes.
If you look at the rocket display when they stand to show what they have, if you look at it, it's all wallpaper. You see the thing is just wallpaper, is little tubes.
So it's
Look
fake.
at the marching. Look at the marching of the rockets, and they show in North Korea in the public. Yeah, pay close attention. It's all wallpaper. You see it some of the places they haven't managed to glue it properly.
Okay.
So they don't have it, and every time the head of the European States Agency, which is a Belgium, he's a criminal. He's the guy who threatened to kill me, and he organized. He made me a terrorist. Now we have all the documents. He's made everybody terrorist because he's a terrorist himself.
Yes.
He works with the King of Belgium.
Okay.
They're very close friends. I've seen them together. As you know, the King of Belgium, the present King of Belgium, is a pedophile. He's not a pedophile. He's a gay. Put it that way.
Okay.
He's gay. And he's even killed somebody trying to escape from a gay club. And so the king is gay, and he's got a lover. It's on the internet, this, that the lover has become part of the European States, what do you call it, a space agency.
Okay.
Mr. Brackenier. And this Mr. Brackenier threatened to kill me if I don't give my technology to him. That's why we escaped with the king threatening us. So they have this Mr. Brackenier, according to what's in the internet, and we see is correct because I can confess to it. I've seen him in all three places. He's an internal lawyer of the nuclear side of the Belgian government.
Okay.
He's an internal lawyer for the space side of the Belgian government, and he's an internal lawyer for where they make electronic defense of the Belgium. It's called IMEC.
Okay.
So what they've done to the position, they have stolen rocket technology from France. All the launches they do for, what do you call it, satellites and everything.
Yes.
They have stolen, due to the position, the technology from NATO, the nuclear weapon technology of NATO.
So will Belgium be launching rockets in the near future?
No, they have sold it to the Korean. It's a business. Why should they launch it themselves?
Okay, it's just the technology
they were
after.
Now it's discovered. But the thing is now, the Vatican has got on the bandwagon.
Okay.
The Vatican has financed to support the North Korea. They stole the technology. The other financing the material for the North Korea is done by Vatican. That the Pope is planned, I hope it still goes through, to go to China in autumn, winter of this year. And by arriving, you remember when the last Pope went to Poland, we saw the downfall of the wall of Berlin and the rest of it, if you remember?
Indeed.
The Pope was to signal the beginning of the revolution and trouble in China, that they start splitting the superpower. And China now has got the whole hang of the process, the program. And it has been stopped. It will stop. And at the same time, Vatican with Jerusalem, or what we call the way they work, they were financing the Muslims on the west of China to start the uprising.
Right.
Islamic uprising in China, and then starting the problem. Now everything is silent, thanks to the wisdom of President Xi. And President Xi called Trump. Go and get this sorted out. We're calling all the credit notes in. So out of nowhere, suddenly Trump is on this peace mission, going to Saudi Arabia, to blaming ISIS, going to Israel, and then going to Vatican. He's gone to tell them China has found out about the plan. Who's going to pay the penalty? And one thing which is for sure, which is rising very rapidly, the Belgium will be moved out of kingship. Because the king has sold nuclear weapon technology to China, to Korea and other places.
Right.
The IMEC, which the head of European Space Agency is part of, has sold secret weapon technology, space technology of NATO into anybody. Anyone.
Okay.
And even to the part of, there is a big question mark now in a lot of other places, that how they were using North Korea was exactly like Cuba's situation. And China,
wars,
let me tell you something very interesting.
Okay.
In a meeting of the President Xi, His Excellency President Xi, with His Excellency President Trump in Washington 8 weeks ago or so, China raised an alarm. We think part of the Chinese army is helping Korea to build atomic nuclear bomb.
Nuclear warheads,
And
yes.
it is in the news, you can read, this was actually biggest concern for China. How come nuclear weapons are getting developed by North Korea? And they couldn't see where it is. In China, understanding, receiving the message that is done by the Belgians, President Xi again 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, called Trump. We found out they are doing the same thing in the United States. The same organization was setting up the unrest in the United States. You remember we had all the riots in France?
Yes.
And then suddenly we saw all the riots against Trump in New York and the France went down.
Indeed.
It's the same team from Belgium.
So
they just moved them into United States and
right.
all supported by Vatican. So Vatican has taken a position to create mayhem, to be in charge, to be the superpower.
Right.
The financial world moves into religious control. But the strangest thing is, we saw Vatican pushing with Ukraine to start the war in Ukraine 2 or 3 years ago, and the whole aim was to get into the Church of Russia.
Okay.
To bring the Russian Orthodox Church in under control. It's the last church they cannot control. It's the richest in the world. They're richer than Vatican.
Really?
In the gold reserve.
Okay, I actually thought that the Vatican was the richest bank on the planet.
It's bankrupt. All the gold of the Vatican with the last German Pope was shifted to Berlin.
Okay.
It's in the Central Bank of Europe. That's why he was brought down.
I didn't know that.
He resigned. Yes, that's what he did. He gave the guarantee for Spain, for Portugal, for your country. You remember you ran into a lot of financial problem.
Yes, we're still there.
The guarantee was the Catholic club is going to break up. And so they wanted a guarantee for payment to support Vatican. The Pope, the German Pope, was made to become the Pope. And in that Pope situation, he shifted all the gold to bond, to guarantee it. And now Vatican hasn't got that much gold. It's emptied because he stood, and that's why they didn't kill him. He stepped down because he went against, and nobody knew how he emptied the whole central bank of Vatican. That's why he resigned, because they couldn't take it anymore. Germans negotiated his life, and if you remember, he was supposed to go silent, but he's everywhere talking. The geopolitical of Europe has been damaged. There was a big fear what happens if we disturb Belgium. Now the agreement has been reached. The monarchy in Belgium steps down. There won't be no monarchy. It goes into democracy, election by president like France. And this is the beginning of the change. What has happened, the pressure which went on China through North Korea was unbearable for China. And they created so much mistrust even inside the Chinese army.
Right.
And now they found out no Chinese have ever betrayed the nation. Is this bunch of crooks, pedophiles in Belgium have been stealing and supplying it.
And Belgium is the seat of the European Union, and that's where it is.
No. It doesn't matter if it is.
Okay.
They can't do everything whatever they like.
Okay.
When the King of Belgium came to see me and he said, you give us my technology, I said, listen, I go, you go. I left Belgium and he abdicated.
Okay.
The pictures are on the internet. He sat having a coffee and tea with me for an hour and a half and threatening me. I told him to get lost. My technology belongs to people, in a very polite way. I said, the only thing you're going to have from me is my books. I went to the back of my car. I signed 3 books to him. He said to his bodyguard, take a picture from me. He wanted to remember when he ordered my murder. Then we had all the problems.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's
so
all now
he threatened.
I have found all the documents of shooting and the report of trying to kill us and our children and everything. Now we have it in the police report of Belgium, with the police letterhead signed by the senior police officer.
Okay.
We are going public with it in the next few days. We are releasing these on the internet to show when we say what happened. We had certain securities set up. We have retrieved all our documents from our security side. And these are originals. We publish it on the internet, how Belgium are killing scientists, and they put pedophile called Mr. Lorenz to attack us everywhere.
Right.
I enjoyed seeing it. I was with some politicians. He's written into the newspaper of Ghana that now we announced it. I was the author of supporting Mr. Keshe to write his books. I done his patents for him. But the only thing he misses, I was his webmaster too. That's where I took the children. He always were, whoever we brought into webmaster when we were in Belgium, there is something wrong with them. I'll control it. I should have understood.
Right, right.
When we look at Alan Sterling, he brought Alan Sterling in. Now we are just past few days. We are going through the cases with the police for what we call the European Court of Justice. It's there. The guy is the biggest pedophile. I did this, but he doesn't refer. I was the webmaster. That's where I used to get. I did these things, pretend to do, because I was getting the children.
Right. It sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. You don't want to go over it again. Will you tell me a little bit about
but it hurts me. I should have seen it.
Right.
I should have seen it. Head of Keshe Foundation, I should have seen. I've got the most biggest pedophile in our Keshe Foundation.
Yeah. It must have been awful for you to find out.
It's a sad way to say, but this is it. But now these people have thought they're untouchable. They start entering nuclear technology, selling nuclear weapon technology, and now they're being caught. You'll see what happened. Trump is in Vatican today. In 2 days. He's going to Belgium. He will meet with Philip. He'll meet with the Prime Minister to give them the warning. That's the end of it. Immediately, organization has been made to meet, NATO. While he's there, he's meeting NATO to report what the Belgium have stolen and given to North Korea, with the support of Vatican, with some help from Germany. That's debatable. We know how it's coming.
Are you saying?
And then he's going to G7 to report what we're going to do with Belgium. There is one decision we know has been made. I've been talking about this for the past few weeks. Nobody knew how I'm talking about, what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There is a decision has been made. Within the next coming months, maybe a year or two, he will abdicate. Belgium will move into a democracy by election.
Okay.
And if it doesn't do, there's going to be mayhem in Europe. Because, in a way, if you look at it, Europe has no defense anymore.
No.
All the technology has been handed over to the enemies. What is interesting for us from an American point of view, because IMEC has a branch in the United States, that's where they do all the central control of all the rights and everything else, is how much technology is being given to ISIS by IMEC, by the Belgians. How much terrorist activities, material, is supplied to Belgium. All of it.
It does seem though
are very heavy. The implication of it are heavy.
It does seem to us that it's America that are supporting ISIS.
No, listen, at the moment, everybody is everybody. We don't go in that way. But what we see, when we are putting a question mark on it, yeah?
Okay.
Who has supplied, who's supplying all this information? There is a very big question. They've sold the nuclear weapon technology, rocket technology, to North Korea.
Okay.
What about Japan? How much technology of the West has been handed over to Japan in Tokyo? Is there an IMEC in Tokyo?
But is there a threat from Japan?
Yes, of course. Huge. You think they've gone lying down flat? Huh? What happened with the Fukushima? Why Fukushima reactor 1 has gone out with plutonium? If you're a peaceful nation, why do you need plutonium in your reactors? Unless you're building it, so you receive the launch and the rest of it. Don't forget, look at the way that Japan has tilted over towards rocket technology and tilted over towards taking non-military activity back to military activity.
Okay.
Japan is going to become the second Cuba. Huh? If they would, it was a blessing, but that this situation happens in a way that Fukushima was taken out of. We would have had another war again. Now this time, Japan against China.
So are you saying?
Let me explain. Let me explain to you something else. There is a huge pressure by Vatican to take control over everything, and there is a huge pressure to destroy China.
Right. Are you saying though that the nuclear site in Fukushima? Are you saying that it was actually targeted, that it was hit rather than?
I don't know. The way it looks to us as physicists is an accident.
Right.
But the accident happens. We will get it in most of coastline. You have 18 of them in the United States.
Yes.
Most of coastline nuclear reactors are in danger if they're on the earthquake zone. But what has happened in reactor number one, the way it's gone so crazy, is because it was carrying plutonium. It was enriching to go to military weapon grade.
Right, I see. I understand.
You understand?
Yes, I do.
That's why we've seen this disaster. And if you look at the position of Japan in South China Sea and in west of China, it would have become worse than what do you call it, Cuba's crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and it's who's financing this? Why people suddenly nations are going towards weapon technology? We should disarm.
Absolutely, yeah.
We should not arm. So it shows a position of power, and it's the revenge they want to take, and how Pope took all the money out of the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
It's a power play claim. The power. I have a lot of respect for Catholic Church on the belief to Christ, but I have no respect for those who use the church for war.
Right. Well, it does seem to me that the Vatican has, going way back, created wars rather than stopped them.
But we see now they went for China. This time they lost. The intelligence was handed to China very rapidly. They checked it, it was correct, and they took a step.
Right.
When I tell you President Xi has called President Trump, just go while I'm on the line. So when it was done, it was 4 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And suddenly out of nowhere, he's going on the mission of the peace between religions. How come Saudi Arabia? How come to Israel? How come then to... Since when interfaith was interterrorism?
Right.
So we've seen it.
Yep.
Where you have to realize something. After Libya situation, the Chinese and the Russians became very, very well wise in how their system works. You have to understand something very intelligent. Why did British come out of EU? Because they know EU is going to be in danger. They want to keep the pound out of it. Right. British never made a move if it wasn't to their benefit.
No, right.
Listen, look at it this way. England made huge amount of money out of EU euro currency. Nobody made more money out of euro currency than British. The Germans paid them to come in, stay for a while, that the others come in and then pull out. You remember John Major going in and then saying 7 billion losses the number of weeks we've been in EU?
Yes.
But they didn't tell you that they took a commission from the gold which went into Berlin. If England wouldn't have joined Euro, not many nations would do. Germans did a deal with their what do you call it, with their cousin in England.
Okay.
England came in for a short time. It brought a lot of gold into Berlin, and then they pulled out and they got paid for it.
Okay, so they were just sort of tantalizingly going in there.
Yes, that's what it was. Right. Don't forget, I lived in England and worked at the highest level within the structure of the British government.
Right. Can you explain to me your world peace roadmap and treaty?
Our road peace map is, we give you the technology, you guarantee use it for peace, and you commit yourself, your soul, to peace. Use my technology, but peaceful way. That's why we expose all these criminal activities and wars.
Yes.
This is the reason. We have a high intelligence. Keshe Foundation has got its own intelligence services. We are the only foundation with secure intelligence services.
Okay.
And we share this intelligence heavily with securities. On a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, I talk to each one. I speak with the American securities. I was in the American embassy 2 weeks ago for an hour. I gave them my phone. I said, download. I'm that much secure.
Nice.
They were shocked.
Right.
Nobody gives you understand.
Yeah.
Because you have to trust me. If I don't have anything on my phone, then you see it. They thought they're very clever. When I told them, I said, thank you very much, it's very cold. How much did you download? The guy said, Mr. Keshe, there's nothing hidden from you. I said, no, because I'm a man of peace. Yes. I meet regularly, discuss regularly, give information regularly with Italian intelligence. Do the same with the French. I meet on the time of need with FBI, CIA on a regular basis. I pass intelligence to the Russians and the Chinese as a man of peace, not to be somebody else.
Well, that's the question.
We see a problem, we share it.
That's the question I want to ask you.
Americans. Pardon?
Meren, that's the question I want to ask you. Are all these countries, Italy, France, etc., the CIA, the FBI, are they all looking towards peace?
Most of them are. They are, because they got fed up of war. How much killing? The true politicians are looking, we look into the direction of the new French president. He's a beautiful man. We look into the direction of German president, what do you call it, the chancellor. She has
Merkel.
been very loyal supporter of peace in different ways, but she likes to see her country to be equal, that it won't be eaten up in the future. We have a beautiful, one of the most powerful men in the world, President Xi. He's a man of peace. The whole of Chinese government is a government of peace.
Right.
They could go into Philippines with a war. They always find a solution in a peaceful way. China could have gone exploding everything what has come out of North Korea. Why should they get involved?
Well,
The wisdom of the President Xi is so high. You got the Americans there, you started the problem, you go and get it sorted.
This is fantastic news for us human beings on the ground, because we feel helpless and hopeless sometimes in the fact that our countries seem to be wanting to go to war all the time.
The world situation as a leadership has changed.
Good.
The world leadership has moved into China. There is no warmongering.
Okay.
There is no, you have to understand, you start seeing more and more peace activities, more and more serene behavior, because Chinese presidency, with heading with President Xi, have taken a position there is always a peaceful solution.
Okay, well, we're still having, like war is big money to the corporations that are funding and creating guns and ammunition around the world. So how are we going to dismantle this, and how are we going to stop situations?
We don't need to dismantle it.
Okay.
We need to find an alternative employment that allows people to have job,
yes,
to have security and peace. We have to find alternative methods of creating a peaceful planet.
Yes.
And we are offering it, the Keshe Foundation, with all the technologies we are.
I hear you, but I'm sitting here in Ireland and we're being attacked on a daily basis in very simple forms. Our water is fluoridated and poisoned. Our skies are being sprayed every single day by chemicals. No consent from the people, and it's creating illness.
Now, take those gases I showed you, the CO2, try to learn to use it on a regular basis, 30, 60 milligrams a day.
Yep.
You clear all these things out of your body. It washes it out. Let it be as much as it is.
But they're still being put in by people. Like, for example, you know, there are people employed to drive Chemifloc lorries from the ports, which is importing a waste product from the aluminium and the fertilizer industry, and they're lying to the Irish public and saying it's good for your teeth, and they're putting it into our water. In fact, they're dumping their shit in our water, and they're getting away with it. So these are criminal acts. Are these going to come to task? Hello, Maron, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Could you hear that?
You know, I heard the fertilizer and you disappeared.
Okay.
The aluminium from fertilizer.
Well,
carry on.
What I'm saying is that these are poisons being put into our water on a daily basis, sanctioned by our government, and we are being poisoned, and it is a criminal act, and these criminal acts are happening. It's all well and good to know how to get rid of things from our bodies, but why are they putting it into our bodies in the first place?
It pays to do it. Somebody's getting paid.
Well, yes.
I tell you the funniest thing which has happened in the world, and they're keeping a very tight lid on it.
Okay.
We all use it. We enjoy using it because we don't burn our food. It's called Teflon.
Yes.
Teflon is produced in a heavy way by DuPont. DuPont, in producing Teflon, which is a spin-off of the space agency made by NASA scientists in the background of whatever.
Yes.
When you produce Teflon, you produce the most dangerous, 9 most dangerous cancer agents.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you the list of it. We are involved in this with what I give you because Keshe Foundation is heavily involved in this.
Yes.
As part of the process, we are cleaning. We're trying to find a cleaning way. Part of the Keshe Foundation, I'm investing a lot of money into it. We're paying wages for it. Then we have beautiful people who are working as part of the Keshe Foundation. We have opened the water processing system, and it'll be supported more in the coming time.
Okay.
DuPont got penalty 365 million, then they got hundreds of cases which have they caused cancer in people, and 10 million, 5 million cases. They're heavily paying continuously damages.
Right.
United States has banned production of Teflon in United States. China is aware of it, but for production, they are finding different solution. They cannot import Teflon from China for whatever standard reasoning or whatever. Now the Teflon has been moved to Europe, getting produced in Italy. So the Italian farmers, Italian people are getting poisoned heavily by what is banned in the United States. The poison through this process now has entered the chain food in Northern Europe.
Right.
Now the Europeans are dying of cancer, which comes from DuPont.
So more lawsuits are on their way, yes?
At the moment, Italian government is hiding everything under the carpet.
Right.
62 water wells have been shut down. Deep water wells for farming.
Right.
Contaminated.
Okay.
I can go through, I tell you what, stay there. I'm going to bring it. See, because it's part of my organization, we work this way. We are involved in it heavily.
Right.
We are involved in it beyond imagination, trying to save one thing or another.
Well, the plasma technology should span right across the system, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what we're testing. We are paying for tests. We are doing it. We continuously produce. We see some success in some parts. We don't see success in other parts. Mm-hmm. I tell you something because I'm reading the report, internal Keshe Foundation reports from our, what they call it, employees of the Keshe Foundation. I tell you how bad it is. You cannot believe it.
Right.
This material now has entered. We are eating it. The reports we are working on is heavily done, and we are not divulging. How? Because we are working with the Italian authorities. This gang called Mr. Lorenzen's called people, threaten, kill them, whatever, kill their children. So they work very effectively out of Austria and the rest.
Right.
If you could see, it's done. The part of DuPont is called. I have to give you the list of the poisons in this thing when they wash the, what do you call, the Teflon.
Yeah, that's right.
I get a daily report on this because I'm extremely concerned. Don't forget, we live in Italy. I love the country.
Yes.
And the poison is the nine most dangerous poisons, cancerous agents, and now it's entered the food chain in Italy.
Teflon is still sold in Ireland and UK.
Yes, but is not the way it's done in Italy. It has when they wash it, is the conversion to attachment of it, as far as I understand, is causing this problem. I am just trying to read my, what do you call it, the officer report on it. And then I tell you, because it goes back months and months we are working on it, I have to find it for you. Then you see how correct we are with the structure. And it's done. We work very close with the Italian authorities on this at the moment because we haven't found a full solution. We are working on a part solution. And we can take some out, but in the process we can change some to what is not needed. And I have to find it. It's horrendous what's on it.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm stuck here in Ireland, and I know that our children are being poisoned on a daily basis by chemicals, and we're being sprayed in the skies. I was over in Germany recently, and they're being sprayed just as much as we are. But it's quite incredible.
What is the problem with the spray? Is
well, number one,
I never understand why do you need to spray. I hear a lot about chemtrails. I don't believe in it. But spraying is different than chemtrail.
No, well, I'm talking about chemtrails being sprayed at us, and I am talking chemtrails, and it's not a case of not believing in it. It's real. We've seen the documentation and the permission given to spray. We've even got a company over here who works for Monsanto who are regularly spraying. They want to change the soil so that they only accept hereditary seeds. So this is evil, and it's still going on, Miran.
Very recently, we have an interface problem with Italian and the Belgian group who came to infiltrate the Keshe Foundation.
Hmm.
And what they wrote in the justification why they want to infiltrate Keshe Foundation to destroy it
Yes.
is because they believe the world population should not be more than 500 million. And the Keshe Foundation, with the technology developed, allows many people to be saved. And this is against their ethos, so they want to destroy the Keshe Foundation. I took all the copy of the communication, I gave it to Interpol,
Yes.
to the Italian police, and to the Americans, and I said, we received this thing from them that they want to make it, and they're threatening us. They're
Yes.
blackmailing anybody else with what they want to do. But what I don't understand, if you have a new technology which can give you life and freedom, you don't need to worry about the food chain because now you can do most of it yourself. Why do they see it as a crime? Or is it just they want to try play a power game?
Well, they're playing power games, but they're still doing it. And I do know of the Chemiflock lorry drivers. They go and they push this hydroxyfuric acid into the water. So, you know, it's happening.
And you must be sick in the head like fluorescence, huh?
Say that again?
They must be sick in the head like fluorescence.
Yes, they are sick in the head. This is evil, and there is a plan globally. It's only about 8,000 people on the planet apparently that are on this plan, and they're evil, paedophile, Satanist bastards, and they are wanting to depopulate the planet to 500 million.
I couldn't believe it till I received it. I was reading it. The guy saying, your technology is changing this. There are too many people. We want 500 million, and then you have to stop. You have to stop the
Well, then
Keshe
it's
Foundation.
fantastic to keep going. Then, well done. And obviously, I'm thrilled that you're on my show tonight, Mehran. And it really is important information you've been given. And I do want to say at this point to check out people www.keshefoundation.org. That's KESHE foundation.org, and find out as much as you can.
Let me read you what it's called. This poison is called PFASS,
Okay.
which comes from Teflon. It's one of the biggest cancer agents we know. It has 9 elements in it, and we managed to take 1 or 2 out, but in the process we increased 1 of them, and then we add another system to it, and then it reduces some and increases the other one. So we are in a very fine-tuned trying to see which way we can reduce. In some of the cancer agents we succeeded up to 94%.
Yeah.
In some we succeeded 46.5%, and 1 or 2 have been, 1 has been reduced by 25%. I'm just reading it to you. As I'm going through my thing, my notes, it goes back over months of reports, which is in front of me. This material is one of the worst killing machines we know.
Right.
It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. We never known so bad system. But just washing the Teflon, in the process of washing, it brings in, it washes what is as attachment to it. I have not, the Italians have tried to explain to me so many times. I went to the government. We took the waters and they tested it and we seen it. This is horrendous. This should stop. But if we stop it, how are we going to tell ladies you got to burn your food from tomorrow? You understand?
Well, there's got to be, you know, Teflon came out. We lived a long time without Teflon. Surely we can live without it again.
I think this is one of the impossibilities, style of life we have in the West. In Africa, they don't mind. They use pots. They use clay.
Yes.
But in the Western world, we have, this is not the only thing. There are other products which are not taken. The newest, the worst one we see is this anti-malaria tablet, which is coming out, which has come out and they force everywhere to take.
Right.
It's got a horrendous side effect. It guarantees you die, but it doesn't tell you how you're going to die. It's such a painful life. And people don't want to use it.
Right.
So it's not only one thing, but the same is with the injections, the 3 mixed injections with the mercury in it.
Yeah, there's many ways that they're depopulating
Many
this
ways
planet.
they're trying to kill us. Huh?
Yes.
It must be a very resilient race, human race. Huh?
I think
They find a way, we find another way to go.
Yeah.
But in so many ways, you have to realize is how much has been given how much has been on the table that we do not know. We have chosen a lifestyle in the West. It doesn't damage the man on the street of Delhi who has nothing, just sleeps on the street. It touches us. We think we are very advanced as human race, but in a way we have dug our own graves with these things.
Yes.
We are poisoning ourselves.
I mean, the simplistic way would be to get back to using your technology along with...
We are part of the answer.
Along
not all that.
No, I was going to say, along with permaculture techniques, growing our own food, making sure that we use our own, if need be, clay pots, we can make them. I mean, my wife's a potter, so, I mean, there are things that we can do ourselves, isn't there, that we can heal ourselves. I'm going to be looking deep into the Keshe Foundation and trying to learn as much as I can for the use and the help of my family and friends. And if everybody did that, we'd be moving forward, yes?
In a way, we are part of the answer. But what I would like, what we are encouraging and pushing very rapidly, because I've seen it, I've seen the result of it. I'll read you this. This has come here.
Okay.
PFSA and general water quality for better life. The first one, PFSA, is strictly urgent because this is from the Italian government to us. Mm-hmm. This is from their memo to Keshe Foundation. It says that the first one, PFSA, is strictly urgent because Health Ministry, through a new public order, obliges all animal farmers to zero quality of PFSS into drinking water for animals, and is entered the food chain. This is the new health order that means totally different for animal. This is from Ministry to Keshe Foundation. Nice. This new order is health. That means different from an environmental order. That order obliges all animal farmers to run. No time more of discussion. There is no more discussion. They want this poison which is coming to the process to be taken out.
Yes.
Nobody's been aware of it. We are raising the alarm more or less for the first time tonight, that this is horrendous disease which is coming across Europe.
Okay, well, we need to highlight it as much as possible, man.
The thing is, scientific world and stop making so much depth. Yeah, I read it.
Yes.
The Ministry of Interior has received our data. I'm reading it from the scripts of my department. It says DuPont Europe 2 and Mitsubishi 2. DuPont Europe is not interested for now because they know the penalty on them will be very heavy because they have used the cover of the Italian organizations and companies. Yeah?
Yeah.
It says they have found PFSSs are in drinking water and in solution. These are serious. This is a continuous report from ministries in Italy to Keshe Foundation, and the way we are negotiating in different ways. We are spending a lot of time in this thing. It says, I have a serious inquiry. This is from the government.
Okay.
They want a part of our technology. It says active carbon to most important Italian plants for drinking water. Don't forget, we were in a meeting in the past, very recent past, in an open meeting, there are other people with us, that the Italians have found a major part of Rome has got nuclear contamination.
Okay. So it's radiation, yeah?
I enjoy working with Italian. I always say us Iranian, Persians and the Romans have been together a long time. Mm-hmm. And our company in Italy is extremely active in this.
Okay.
My concern nowadays, from what I see, I sit on this side of the table as a Keshe Foundation, is this PFOA. PFOA is the same as the other one. Right. And it comes from Industrial Revolution. We want everything. These are the detriments of the dangers we have to live with.
Mm-hmm. So we have these all over Europe, and our water table has been damaged.
I think the most important thing at the moment is politically is what's happening with Vatican and Belgium in Western Europe, and we see what the NATO decides on the what I call the punishment on Belgium in
Yeah.
selling nuclear technology to China, to what go to North Korea. But there is a biggest alert for us is to whom else does selling these technologies.
Right.
This is the biggest worry. Now we understand that Vatican has been involved in a uprising. I tell you how we know. This is a very strange thing.
Okay.
One of the a delegation was sent to China to set up the meeting of the Pope, and amongst this delegation, which went a few weeks ago, was how to keep contact with IMEC to arrange organize terror in China.
Okay.
And I was part of the team. Unfortunately, one of the leading members of this team is very high-level Keshe Foundation officer.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I do.
So we are not talking on behalf of somebody telling us. Our people were underground when the revolution, the whole thing was setting up. And they don't agree with it because they thought they went to organize a trip for the Pope.
Mm.
And part of the team was there to organize a revolution in China and break China up.
Okay.
We immediately informed Chinese government and authorities. This is what we have received as intelligence. And they received intelligence from us continuously. So we are not talking, we know somebody is inside internal structure of the Keshe Foundation. And we shared the same thing with the United States. But the biggest problem we had, we couldn't see how they're synchronizing it.
Okay.
Now the Chinese have seen the synchronization, everybody else can see it was to use the Muslims and the west of China, the Israelis trained, developed to deliver, and then Pope going, you follow us or we do this to it. It was a ransom. The word used by Vatican was we taking China to ransom.
Okay.
And I said to them, how can they take such a big country? North Korea will fire.
So
and then at the same time, the Muslims will start, and we start the problem of splitting China, and then they drop us being their superpower.
So are you saying that the Vatican and South Korea and Belgium are all in cahoots together?
It's all, everybody gets what they want, huh? North Korea gets a nuclear weapon.
Right.
Belgium gets paid for stealing from NATO and France. And Vatican manages to push with the agenda when China is weak to get hold of Church of Moscow.
Right. Okay.
You understand? Because the biggest, strongest people standing behind Putin and everything else is China.
Okay.
In weakening China, Vatican could take over the last church they haven't taken over. You know the Northern Ireland, you're from Ireland, huh?
Yes.
The peace treaty, Northern Ireland peace treaty, was the handover of the British monarchy's power back to Vatican. Yeah, well, this was the part of the deal.
Yeah, well, we know that the history. I mean, you know, in 1155 was the first English pope, and he gave Henry V, I think, Ireland as a gift, and the people on it.
What a beautiful gift, you Irish people.
Well, it would be a beautiful gift, but they abused us and abhorred us and treated us like shit. And then years later, you know, in 1918, there was a general election when King George decided he wanted to show his power and show that he was still ruling Ireland. And in fact, the Irish people voted against him, and we had our first Dáil in 1919. And basically, we were called a terrorist organisation and banned. So really, we're still a complete 32-county sovereign republic of Eire. We still are that. It's just that the British military and the propaganda and the media have lied about it.
You see, what my concern is, or what my aim is to get rid of all this.
It'd be nice, wouldn't
it? When we are doing it. We have set up alternative to United Nations inside the Keshe Foundation, called the Universal Council. We have set up a world government, which is 6 members, 1 person for each continent.
Okay.
Which means we all become, there is no more nations, because now the Universal Council works on the languages. So we have a member of the council for English. So anybody English speaking anywhere in the world goes under one banner.
Right.
So the Chinese go the same. If you're a Chinese in America, you're a Chinese in China, you're still one of the member of the council. So we have got away with the borders, because now the nationality does not count. The language, the way of thinking counts. And your mother language becomes your border, which is the whole world and the freedom of it. So we have established, it's now over a year, the Universal Council operational. The Earth Council, which is 6 members of one each continent, has going. They're meeting, I think, tomorrow night, as I hear, for the
Well,
first few
who
times.
elected these individuals? I mean,
No.
shouldn't the
The
people
election.
shouldn't the people know about them?
Yes, what happened? The first standing was in Dubai last year, where we asked the people, stand for the soul. What you see your soul does. There was no election. The strength of serving humanity was the only criteria
Okay, that sounds
per
great.
language.
That sounds great. I mean, there are
So
no borders in my world, you
no
know.
borders.
Yeah,
It doesn't exist. On me, I travel all over the world.
good.
Then we have chosen 6 members of the Earth Council, which they become more or less what we call leaders, but they understand they're under the control or understanding of the Universal Council because each continent carries all the languages.
Okay.
They are there to support, to bring peace. When you have one family, one nation, you don't need to build arms. This is the principle of the Keshe Foundation.
Okay.
So it's already, if you go on the Keshe Foundation and support the Universal Council, you see them. You put the Earth Council, you see them. They are getting their own land, the property, and the offices in the coming weeks and months. And then they replace United Nations because United Nations, so much blood on it, it's unbelievable. So nothing's, it's been the division of nations and United Nations.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
And the only thing is the Universal Council are elected by themselves. They cannot vote. They can say what is their wish, what is the problem they want to see be resolved. The same is with the Earth Council. The 6 members of each continent. We look at the Earth as 6 continents, not the 5, because we see the southern continent, South American continent separating very soon. It needs its own, what you call, council. So that's why we have 6 members of the council. We see that interaction through peaceful activities and not arms and military is the only solution, and we encourage it heavily.
Yes.
Keshe Foundation has one target, and that's world peace, and we achieve it through the technology we are developing. Look at it this way. If I help a father to have a child for the rest of their life, to be a normal child, to be joy to the family, not somebody on the pusher and worrying is mentally retarded, I brought peace to the soul of 3 people, the mother, the father, and the child.
Brilliant.
You use my technology to bring peace. I want a guarantee from you you never work for military arms or get involved in any conflict. The key to the success of Keshe Foundation is through his health application.
Yes.
We can all be richest man, but we all die of a sickness. One day down the line we need, I give you health to be free at a time of pain. I want the guarantee you do not arm, you do not fight. You become man of peace. Very soon, we get so many people that they stand the judge between their souls. There is no court. The court of knowing I use the technology, I promised I keep it to peace, will judge the soul of the man. It's the conscience of the man which kills the man. So, in a short time, everybody gets ill. If you calculate, very simple number, there are 7 billion of us. On average, we live 50 years. So divide 7 billion by 50. And then divided by 365. And then divided by 24. You see how many people per minute are born and died.
Okay.
Millions.
Yes, yes.
So if 50% of these, 30% of these, who can stay a bit longer to enjoy the shades of the beauty of the universe, can stay on the condition that they bring peace to humanity, very soon I can reach at least 50%.
That would be fantastic.
We are doing it.
That would be fantastic. I mean,
Don't forget.
You know, it's a man's soul, isn't it? I mean, you know, we need to use our beauty and our love and our passion for the beautiful.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Where is your soul? Where is your soul? You talk about the soul. Where is your soul?
It's all of me.
Nah, but where is his position?
Well, I would say inside, but I mean, I don't know. It's everything. It's within me. It's
inside. We know the position of the soul. Physical position of the soul. I can explain to you.
Okay.
It's within the center of your brain. It's a very small black dot.
Okay.
We know it because we work on it. I have explained it, and the Keshe Foundation websites, in the coming time you see it says soul, emotion, spaceship. The emotion is a transition of the fields from this point of essence of creation, because we never knew where the soul is. If you look at it, the center of the energy of the sun comes from the center of the sun.
Okay.
And as it reduces its strength by the interaction with the others, we see the manifestation of the surface of the sun. So is the body of the man.
Okay.
Now, we didn't know where the soul is. It was something or something somewhere. Now we know, we can see it. I can show it with the beauty of MRI where every man's soul is and how powerful it is. So the mystery of the soul of the man is solved. Now we know the soul is much more powerful in the strength than the sun. It radiates. What it comes out with the layers, what we call the emotion of the man, different layers of the brain of the man.
Brilliant.
And then what it comes to it, it manifests the physicality of the man. I see your eyes, beautiful, gorgeous blue eyes, or whatever, red and black hair, or whatever.
Yeah.
Is the manifestation of what our soul decides we want to look like to get enough attention, and that we can feed the soul of the man. If now we know this is the condition, why don't we use it for a peaceful way?
Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't we?
So that's where we are going. That's where the Keshe Foundation technology is going. I don't see any churches in the universe. NASA hasn't reported any mosques anywhere. There are no ISIS on the planet Zeus. So there are no beliefs in what I call the thing which is called God, which is they made to rob you from your soul. Now we know where the soul is. It can conduct itself the correct way if it's given all the facilities to have its own conduct of the perfection.
Okay.
So now we see we are changing very rapidly. Keshe Foundation is growing in a very fantastic way because the people are fed up of war, hunger, everything else, and they can do that themselves at home.
Yes.
But we need enlightenment, and we are not a religious organization because there is no religion in this space. We don't see any writings, computers, blackboards, and pens in the universe, so we have to carry the knowledge with the pen of the soul of the man. And then we don't see anybody being king and leader of, we go and invade another star, we become another thing. This is finished, this was man's job.
Good, good.
So we teach, we give the knowledge in exchange for peace. And in the coming time, the governments can see. We are getting reports how governments have been blocking the Keshe Foundation.
Yes.
And it's from the ministries. These are from the officials in the government. I have paid with my life. I spent nothing but actually escaping from the hand of Mr. Lorescence, who was planning one murder after another me, and at the end he killed my assistant last year. And now
sorry to hear
my
that.
secretary is still in coma. Pardon?
I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yes, we're celebrating his beauty on the 6th of July in our teaching. Because this man pretending to be, what really made me sick, I was in the point of vomit when they said, have you seen what is written in the Ghana paper? Now it's coming Ghana to see the damage. I have written the books, I have done the patents, but it doesn't say I was a webmaster, because webmaster was access to, and wherever he goes, whoever he operates, I have to be a webmaster. He did with another politician. And then he finds the IP of the children and he sells them. The Alan Sterling wrote, 50% of my viewers are all pedophiles. I know.
Wow.
I said, how can you know if 50%, if you're not monitoring and selling to? Why do you collect such a data? And then he says, I speak to Mr. Lorescence. And then when we exposed Alan Sterling, who went to help him? Mr. Lorescence, of course.
Right.
The only thing which actually security people brought up is, have you noticed he's been your webmaster, taking data down of the children? I was puzzled. It is shame on humanity. A piece of shit.
Well, unfortunately, there's
killing children.
There's too many pieces of
raping,
shit killing children.
Go on the website. There is a place he has went and he's taken a picture of the grass and he puts it on his website. And the week before he puts this picture on, there is an article, a girl who was raped and everything, speaks about that area.
No, that's terrible. Listen,
He is Mr. Lawrence. We put it in public. And the thing is, Belgian government does nothing with him because he's one of them. He supplies the king.
Well, look, I
Let me tell
know,
you. I tell you something very interesting.
Okay, go on.
I'm going to stop this because
Okay.
we have to protect our children.
We do.
You know, a girl claimed to be the daughter of the King of Belgium. Yeah,
Right.
and then the King of Belgium said is not. It's a daughter of. She's 50 odd years old now. She claimed about 4 years ago to be the daughter of the king, and the only way she could prove she is, she asked for the blood of the king. King will not give her blood.
Right.
Do you know why?
Because she was.
And then she went to her father. The father she thought is his father. My mother says that I'm not your daughter. You love me so much. Can I have your blood? The father who loved the daughter gave her blood, and the answer came negative. I'm not your father.
Right.
She asked from the court for the blood of this pedophile called King of Belgium, and he abdicated because he wouldn't give blood. Do you know why he didn't give blood? It's not for the daughter not to be confirmed. Because if his blood is put outside in public, there are 50 cases in French courts, the girls he's raped, murdered while he was raping them.
So he would be standing...
It wasn't enough for the daughter. Yeah. Yes, he goes straight because he's lost his immunity. Well, he goes into prison.
Mehran, I've been doing this radio show now for a good 5+ years, and I have been party to knowledge about paedophile rings all over this world, and the 33 1/3 degree Masons oath, 33 1/3 and above oath, and some archbishops in the Vatican's oath includes killing of firstborns, molestation and paedophilia. It includes all of those things for them to keep their power and their energy, etc.
The thing is, what is my concern? I don't go into these things. We know the way I got pulled into this to understand. Maybe that was a reason because of the situation and I stand.
Yes.
I had to see it. Is
well, it's affected you.
I met a guy. It's affected the foundation work.
Yes.
And it has strengthened the foundation work because we all stand, we know what we're standing for. We're standing for peace. And these guys do nothing but disturbing the peace because they have, if I would like to have, do you know what is written is that these people try to discredit the Keshe Foundation to cover their own crimes.
Right. Yes.
And it's very serious. Mr. Lawrence has raped his own 2 daughters.
That's for a fact. It beggars belief.
It's the same as Alan Sterling went for my throat. He wrote all the shit in his website. And then I asked Kerry Cassidy on the 18th of February last year, Kerry, I want to give you an interview, but I'm going to speak about Alan. She said, don't danger it. I just said very quickly, I said in my talk with Kerry Cassidy on the 18th, 19th of February, I said we know who the victims of Alan Sterling are. They are his 2 daughters he's raped.
Wow.
24 hours later, he walked into FBI, he handed himself over because he said the game is over, they know.
Yeah.
And birds go with birds, wolves with wolves.
Okay.
Why does Mr. Lawrence have such a contact with the guy who rapes his 2 daughters? He's got 2 daughters too. And they didn't speak to him. He threatened them. The money he got from capturing me in Canada brought the children back. And he said, I received inheritance. The father died 5 years after he received inheritance. How can you receive inheritance before your father dies?
Yeah.
You understand?
I do.
So,
Mehran, I want to tell you, we've got about 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left. And if you want to give a message to the world, if you want to give a message to my listeners, what would the main crux of it all be?
My main wish is let us bring this planet back to peace. Do not go for revenge. Invite to change the path. The revenge has not paid off. On the other hand, the biggest gift to humanity is to guarantee the future of humanity with peaceful at home and outside. I'd like to see how many children in Ireland and around the world, which are called syndrome, lack of oxygen, we can bring back to give as a gift back to humanity. Their laughter will fill our houses. What I would like to see, and I thank so many ways the Keshe Foundation supporters around the world, work in one direction, to bring peace. Use my technology to bring peace. Use this technology to expose the weakness of the man, that it becomes his strength and brings peace. I cannot give more than what I've given. I have been on the run not to be killed in the hand of Mr. Lorenz and his team, Mr. Delano, the police of Cortec, Hans Braconier, the head of European Space Agency, who made me a terrorist, because now Dirk Lorenz, he didn't get paid by the child he delivered to Hans Braconier. So he wrote on the internet in 2004 how I was made a terrorist. And it's very interesting. It's become evidence to the European Court of Justice, Mr. Lorenz being accomplice to a murder and a terrorism by his own handwriting. What I wish is go to Keshe Foundation website. Find a way to find materials that you need to become man of peace. Go through the Keshe Foundation website. Join us to bring peace through knowledge. Expose the knowledge for peace. And sometimes I get angry when I see what is done to Keshe Foundation, but we are a human side of the intelligence of the man. Anger doesn't pay, but my anger is, I've become very, very angry in the past few days with myself.
Yes.
How come I did not see a major pedophile using Keshe Foundation network and other people to recruit children for himself and his people? And he writes, I have supported the books, I have supported the, but he doesn't write, I used to be the webmaster, because he knows that way he's going to get caught.
Well, Mehran,
my wish is,
sorry, go on.
My wish is, let's use the new technology to bring peace.
Yes.
And that's all we can do. Go on www.keshefoundation, Keshe foundation.org. Go to KFSSI, join to become learning, and when you learn, come back and teach us as a students, as a masters. And let us change. We have to change, because the government is us, not government who governs.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for today.
Well, Mehran, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour, and I really do hope people do check out www.keshefoundation.org. Mehran Tavakoli, Keshe, thank you so much for coming on Out of the Bag.
Thank you very much indeed. I hope it was a nice bag.
It was.
I enjoyed being in it.
It was indeed. And I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Thanks for your time.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Now, moving on to the rest of the show. And I hope you understand that was quite an intense 2 hours. I hope you enjoyed it and listened to it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. It was quite remarkable, and a lot of remarkable. I'm going to have to sit back, I think, in the very near future and have a re-listen to it. I've been trying to take notes during it, but I think check out www.keshefoundation.org. That's Keshe foundation.org.